Coldcast. I'm your host, Dr. Anna Johnson, and I'm Vice President of Marketing and Corporate Strategy at United States Cold Storage. Today, we're going to talk to two powerhouses in the transportation field and folks that work for U.S. Cold, and they are leading the charge behind our LTL, customs brokerage, consolidation network, and the relationship that keeps those shipments moving. So I'd like to introduce Mike Carlisle, our Senior Director of Logistics Operations. This is his second time on the Coldcast?
It is, yes.
Okay, so it's second time. And then this is Chris Stokely, our Manager of Logistics.
Hello.
Yes, hello. And as Larry Aldiver likes to say, we don't normally reheat eggs, but we reheated you. So Chris was with us previously. He left for another opportunity, and he's back again. So I think we're going to get started by asking you, just in general, what was the reason that you came back?
So the reason I came back to U.S. Cold is, first of all, it's a great organization. Really had a great experience out of college working for U.S. Cold. Learned a lot about their LTL program. I was fortunate enough to go work for a shipper after I left U.S. Cold and really got to learn a lot on the shipping side and how shippers interact with carriers and, you know, how the whole puzzle kind of fits together in the supply chain. So now that I'm back here, I feel comfortable knowing what customers are really looking for and also how U.S. Cold can enhance that customer offering.
And so just for the folks that don't know, Mike, do you want to tell us a little bit about what service offerings we provide in transportation? Because not every cold storage has transportation offerings, correct?
Correct, yeah. So our biggest offering is our LTL consolidation piece. We're moving about 80,000 loads a year through that program. And really some of the benefits that we give our customers is that it is a rigid sailing schedule. You are benefiting by, shipping with other like customers from our warehouses and benefiting from that hundredweight pricing. And there's a lot of shared costs that are a benefit to the customer with lumber fees, detention fees we're able to share across that whole stop. And it's a big savings to our customers. The other pieces we have our managed service group that's also reporting to Chris. Some customers, they give us all of their freight, and we're doing almost like their orders at a managed service cost per order, per load. So it's pretty a controlled cost for that customer if they know their freight, they know the volumes, and really just know their loads like that. But the piece that Chris is going to be managing, I kind of look at it that we did the hard part first with the consolidation piece. We looked at how do we build and put these puzzles together with all these loads and our customers. And we didn't really look at the truckload piece, the inbounds to our facilities, the point-to-points for our customers. So what Chris is doing, I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's something that it's a big opportunity for us that we can offer to our customers to make us as close to a one-stop shop as possible.
Was it the natural evolution from our freight consolidation, or was it something that we felt like we saw a need in the market?
I feel that we saw a need because it was segmented. We were seeing some of the customers or some of the carriers bringing this freight into our buildings, hired by someone else. And then we can look at it as consolidating that service offering for our customers, that we can control it with better buying power for us with the carriers. And really, we were able to benefit the customers with the price.
So talk to me a little bit. I think this is something fairly new that we're doing, correct?
Correct.
We've always offered it, right?
We have. I think we're really just scaling it now. So we've always offered it in a much more controlled and smaller piece.
Okay. And Chris, what are your thoughts on what's the plan to do this?
So we're going to utilize a lot of the small carriers that are in our LTL program that do a great job, really just doing our multi-stop deliveries or truckloads out to various consignees. A lot of them are looking for backhauls back into our facilities. They really provide great service at a fair price, and we feel that we can enhance our offering by funding them backhauls and keeping them in our network and just keeping them moving with the USCS Logistics Group.
Is that a challenge in the industry, those backhauls, and just keeping them busy on the other side?
So a lot of carriers rely on brokers to backhaul them, and we do see quite a few brokers kind of hauling loads into our facilities. So that's where we think we can keep those carriers in a closed loop and manage them just kind of round trip and keep them happy in our network, in basically our whole supply chain, just to keep them ingrained with us and just overall keep our customers happy by utilizing some good core carriers that we have.
You said we did the hard part first, right? Well, if someone thinks that transportation is routine, what kind of behind the scenes things should they think about, you could kind of help with?
Really just anything logistics and transportation related. We joked about, what's the crazy part about transportation? And I could just say, if you look at Chris's inbound calls right now, sitting with him throughout the day, it's probably 5-6 calls every 15 minutes. So it's But it's just constantly looking at the carriers. How do we make sure those carriers have the information they need? And really just the ever-changing day-to-day workload.
The other thing is a lot of our customers may not have a TMS or may not have a lot of transportation personnel. So we feel like we're really experts at the warehousing and transportation piece here at US Cold. So we feel like we have a great system that we can help the customer utilize. If they don't have their own system, we can use that and offer a managed service fee. Or we have good expertise with quality transportation individuals and been doing it a long time that know what our shippers need.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. When you think about, when some people think about warehousing and logistics, they think about manual docks and, all these things. The technology that we do have within our TMS system, within our planning software, and really the people that we have, these are professionals. It's not somebody that's just planning freight, pressing buttons and hoping for the best. I mean, these guys are analyzing, using data-driven decisions, and really using the systems that we have built out for them and for our customers.
Well, what's the biggest transportation technology that's made an impact with you guys?
So really in the last 2 years, it's been our automated load builder. Smart Move is what we're calling it. I've worked in several different operations, and it's always been advertised that, we're going to have a load builder. It's going to be, the next best thing, build all your stops. And I've never seen it work really to a T. This one, Smart Move, is looking at all of the loads. And since we're on a sailing schedule, it can kind of divide those loads, look at what day from the origin, build those loads for the best route possible. It's looking at dwell times, traffic times, and even appointment times for those consignees. So it's making the best educated decision for the service and cost on that load. Then the load planner will look at it, verify, make sure there's no issues with it. But taking that and putting our people to be proactive on those loads to see if there's issues with them has just saved a lot of time and really given our customers a better service.
What about you, Chris? It doesn't have to be here, just in general.
Well, I'll elaborate a little bit more on what Mike said. I know being a shipper, we had the same problem. We would use an optimization tool and spit out, say, 7 orders and say we didn't know what to do with it. But our optimization tool here really just grinds all those orders out, builds beautiful loads for the planners just to focus on appointing loads, putting the right carrier on, and helping with issues. We've also, I know right now we're utilizing like an AI scheduler as well, piloting it with 4 kites. And that's something that, it's always been labor intensive that we're automating. But as far as like on my side, we're able to see all the loads going out of our LTL consolidation program. So we know what carriers to target, finding backhauls for and keeping them happy. We also have dedicated fleet so I can see where they're at and give some pricing to help the customer kind of do some more inbounds into our facilities using our dedicated capabilities.
That's a good point. So you mentioned inbounds. I don't know if we do a lot of those today, but that's one thing that we're trying to increase is the ability to do inbounds. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that kind of gives us the insider scoop on that is that our customers that are planning that freight inbound to us, we kind of get to see the information. We get to see the volumes. We get to see, everything in the time of days that they're bringing it. So right now, it's more of what customers do we target first that we could give the biggest benefit to. That's one of our bigger challenges now. But having that data behind the scenes has been a great advantage to us.
So for all of the customers that are listening, if you have inbound loads that are coming into our warehouses, we would love to talk to you about scheduling some of those loads and being able to price them. Talk a little bit about the RFP process.
Yes.
And what you think, how customers should think about that.
So several of our customers, when we tell them that we have the ability just to be able to help with their truckloads, their inbounds, we get put onto their inbound or their annual truckload bid. And that's huge for us. We don't think that we're going to win a complete bid. Obviously, there's niche carriers out there, but we definitely, there's a percentage that work out well for our fleets and there are contract carriers that are going to move those. And really, it's just the opportunity of talking to the right person within those meetings and getting on those bid lists. The people that Chris talks to on a daily basis at any of our customers is a very different subset of people that our warehouses talk to or our GMs or our directors talk to. So getting in front of the right person at our customer is really key for us.
I don't think that people think, again, about us as a transportation company.
Correct.
So I think you guys being here today, we're trying to kind of change that perception and say, hey, listen, we can do it all.
Absolutely.
And we want to do it all. We want to help our customers. And then can you talk a little bit about the actual RFP procurement process with our carriers?
Sure. So it's kind of twofold. I'll talk about the inbound piece first. That as we are getting these inbound RFPs, and Chris can jump in on this as well, we're not just looking at individual carriers. We're looking at a subset of everything, what the market's paying, what our backhaul carriers can help with, and really what other partner carriers we can add to that. So, Chris, I don't know if you want to talk about 3PL.
Especially in like a closed loop scenario, we can keep a carrier moving, or maybe a triangle scenario. We kind of know what the carrier needs to be happy, how much he wants to make per day, what keeps him happy. We know what areas he may like to go or not. And we also may know, hey, let's float this by just a good small 4-truck carrier that knows what he's doing, does everything we ask him. We kind of give him some guidance and say, hey, here's where we think we're going to be on this little triangle. Is it something that interests you? If he says, yeah, then we try to go after it and see if we can get the volume to support him.
So I know we talked about being a shipper of choice. We want to make sure that we're always being in support of our carriers. And I know that the carrier market has been a little bit kind of volatile. So can you guys talk a little bit about what's going on in the market, just for everybody else that's listening?
Sure. So we've definitely seen a soft carrier market these last 2 years. And there's definitely more trucks than there are loads right now. We really try to partner with our carriers, and we have for a long time. We're not replacing carriers week over week or trying to let people outbid each other. Our carrier base has been very loyal. We're about 120 carriers, and the main ones, maybe the top 30, take about 80% of our freight. So being a partner carrier with US Cold, we're going to be loyal to your commitments. We're on a sailing schedule, so our weekly volume stays pretty steady. And so we're able to give them a good benefit of knowing where their trucks are going to go, where their drivers are going to go. And that's really benefited us because our prices just haven't spiked or really gone anywhere. Everybody saw what happened through COVID, but really since then, we've been able to stabilize. We're on a 6-month bid cycle with them. So we just try to keep them close to the market, and really because we need to make sure our pricing is congruent for our customers as well, but to keep the carriers involved too.
So you talked a little bit about LTL consolidation. We call it cold share consolidation. So if someone that's listening out there doesn't know what that is, can you guys explain what cold share consolidation is?
Sure. So really it's looking at customers with similar temperature requirements in a warehouse or in a region that we have, because we have the ability to pool the freight within a region. We are looking at like consignees that you're delivering to fill up that truck with those other shared customers. One of the misconceptions really is that, well, if I'm not filling up that load and you can't pair it up with somebody else, am I going to get charged more? We give you a set standard rate. It's a fixed 100-weight cost. So depending on the size of your load, that's how you're going to get charged. It's on us to make sure that we optimize that truck the best. So no matter if it's a 40,000 pound load or a 10,000 pound load, you as a customer are paying the same based on your weight.
From my perspective, when I was a shipper, the reason I saw US Cold was very valuable is the product's only being touched by them, shipped on the truck, and delivered to the customer. A lot of these other LTL providers, it's going back to their cross-dock facility. Stuff gets lost. It gets mixed with something that shouldn't, or it ends up on a wrong truck and ends up in California when it should have been in Illinois. We have robust systems. We're only touching it once. It's just a clean process for the customer, great tracking capabilities, and it's really just a great program for any customer under our roof to be in.
We like to call it set it and forget it freight. It's really like we accept everything that's given to us. It's 100% acceptance, so there's no rejections through the program. And really, what we're the provider of all things freight for that load. So the only thing that ever happens would be any exceptions at that consignee, or if there's something that we need the customer support. But very little touch by the customer. We update through EDI. So it's really only exception based that there should be any touch or communication.
Is there an advantage to having the cold share consolidation, LTL consolidation in a US Cold warehouse?
It is. So for the warehouse, it's definitely cutting down on their appointments. When we first started looking at the program, it was really a value add service. It was maybe we could ship a truck or two for these guys and make it cost neutral for them. This was way back, 15 years ago. But then when we looked at it and somebody would look at the appointments, and when you have 4 trucks all going to the same Walmart on the same day for 4 different customers, that's 4 appointments that are taking up that time on your dock, taking up 4 different workers. So if we consolidate that and being a part of the LTL program, that's going into 1 appointment, 1 trucker, everything. So it streamlines everything for our operations, as well as at the shipper, you're going to get preferred appointments because it's all on 1 truck versus 4 different appointments.
And there's a sustainability aspect to it, of course, because we're using less fuel, one truck going to the customer rather than 4 different ones. So certainly adds some more value for customers.
As a customer, what makes U.S. Cold a good partner, and what makes you as a carrier, like a shipper, a good partner?
From a shipper's perspective, U.S. Cold really provided great quality communication, very little OS&Ds. The product was always well taken care of. From point A to point B, we know get great communication. If there are any issues, they communicated well with our internal staff at my work for a customer. They also really knew the market well and could interact with carriers very well, and really pick some really good core providers that maybe necessarily we didn't have on our radar, but they had on their radar over the years that have kind of come ingrained in their LTL program and really have focused on being a good carrier for them. Also, U.S. Cold's in some areas that when I was a shipper, we didn't really specialize in. We were North Carolina, Arkansas based. When it came to Illinois freight, and we had purchased a plant up in Illinois, we really didn't know any carrier base up there, but we knew right away we could take that product from our plant in Illinois, move it to U.S. Cold's Wilmington facility, and it would be super well taken care of. No problems at all. Hand it over to them. Happened seamlessly. And really, they're just an extension of the customer at the end of the day.
And Chris brings up a good point. The size of our network and the size of our warehousing network is, if something does happen and you're in Northern California, we're dropping off at 3 different receivers, but one of them can't take the freight, or if there's a mishap, because of our warehouse network, we're able to bring that to our own warehouse, maybe unload that one stop, figure that out, get it delivered the next day. But it doesn't have to come all the way back to Illinois, or it doesn't have to go all the way back to that point where it shipped from, or it doesn't have to go to a third-party warehouse that's not controlled within our network. So having that vast network for us to work with and everybody supported within the company has really been great.
Well, so from a customer perspective, how were you a good partner to U.S. Cold? Like, what makes a good partner?
I think what makes a good partner is obviously paying your bills on time. But no, really what makes a good partner to U.S. Cold is just accurate orders, good lead time, quality communication. If something arises, make sure that somebody can answer very quickly to the U.S. Cold staff, because they're gonna communicate to you right away what's going on. The quicker you can help the U.S. Cold staff, the better. I think if your product's just wrapped appropriately and you have little damages or weird configurations to your pallets, that can certainly help. Less case pick U.S. Cold has to do helps. Not that they're afraid, we're not afraid of case pick by any means, but as a customer, the less case pick we had, that was less cost. And U.S. Cold would help point out those locations where, hey, maybe you guys are overly case picking something, or maybe you can change to layer picks with these customers. So they would give us a lot of intel on how we can make the experience and cost for our company go down.
And one of the byproducts of kind of the longevity of the program and really just the partnerships with our customers is we've seen a big collaboration with our customers, either on technologies or just the ever-changing landscape of their customers. If Walmart or somebody has new on-time requirements, it's something that we're able to work with them, share ideas. Some of our best ideas we're sharing with our customers. We're showing them what we're doing, or they're showing us what we're doing. We've come up with new KPIs just through a customer and how they measure on time and things like that. So a great customer is really somebody that's open to ideas and also open to sharing ideas with us.
You mentioned Walmart and their fees. Can you talk a little bit about what fees are somewhat new? Because for a while there, they took away fees during COVID, and now they kind of slowly edged back. So can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing in the market?
Sure. So the LTL requirement, when it skyrocketed up to 98% on time, I think that was a scary time for everybody. It has since gone down to 90%. And it's still something that we manage, and we manage very well through our program. We're at about a 97 to 97.5 on time to the day, specifically for Walmart. And that's for our LTL program. One of the things that we were able to do is get on the Walmart vendor pool. So it's something that from a location, we're able to set up a vendor pool. If we have 10 customers shipping on that vendor pool, they would likely not move that load. So if they need to manage their labor for that day, before they may take customer A, move them to the day before or the day after, well, our truck's getting there on the day we scheduled. So then somebody would get hit with the OTIF on that one, so the on time for that. But now when it's looked at as a whole 10 customers, they're not moving that whole truck, or they do move the whole truck and then everybody doesn't get that penalty. So having a little bit of a seat at the table with Walmart, better communication with them. We're trying to ever evolve that and figure out how do we get in front of those OTIF fines for our customers.
So you have managed services under your domain, right? So tell us a little bit about managed services. What is it?
Yeah, so we find that the managed services is normally a small customer. It's really growing and just doesn't have the infrastructure to invest in a TMS or maybe necessarily personnel. They may just want to invest in marketing of a product and manufacturing the product, not necessarily invest in the transportation people aspect because it just adds more overhead costs. So we have the expertise in-house to build your loads, schedule your loads, utilizing our smart move we can build. We have our TMS in-house that we utilized for quite a few years that really does a great job. We have 4 kites already. So the customer doesn't have to go out and purchase all these softwares, which is a high expense. We can just do a little bit of a management fee and move the product for our customers and keep them happy. And we're willing to, even if a customer wants to use certain carriers, we can utilize their carrier base, or we can go out and procure carriers for them. It's kind of up to the customer, but we offer both offerings.
Do they need EDI to be able to do it?
Not at all. Currently, we manually enter orders. It's just one of the young ladies' responsibilities here, just to manually enter orders and then we route them based on whether they want to tell us how to route it or how we'd like to route it. It's kind of up to the customer to decide as well.
So how do we see the future of managed services? Because it's weird. It can go, it's a 4PL, it's managed services, it's logistics services. We never really settled on what we call managed services. How do we think about it? How do other people think about it?
So the way I view it, from the company perspective, I think the customer just gives us orders and we find the exact lowest cost way to do it. Whether it's, let's say they want to ship out of their facility in Indiana. We may be able to cross-dock it through our facility in Wilmington, Illinois, most cost effectively. Or if it's going out to Quakertown, maybe we could run a full truckload out to Quakertown and cross-dock it and go out to places in New Jersey or Massachusetts. Or we may say, hey, it's better off to build a 5-stop load. So we can just find the carrier to do a 5-stop load because we're very familiar with handling multi-stop loads. And we can also look at their network design. We could say, hey, we kind of just seen all these orders we've planned for you. We think it may be smarter if you go into 3 different DCs like Minoka, Pennsylvania facility and one of our Illinois facilities. So I think as long as we can get a picture of what your supply chain is, we can tender it towards your needs and save your cost. And basically we'll be an extension of the shipper. And that's what we're great at doing. We do it in warehouses every day. We can do the same thing on the managed services side.
So Chris, how long have you been here?
I've been here 3 months now.
3 months. Can you tell me a little bit about what made you decide to come back?
Really, 2 things. The executive team here has been here a long time, very stable. I remember my experience here was great the first time. And honestly, you look around and a lot of the same people are here. It's amazing to see the growth is what I've said before I came back was, wow, the growth here is just astronomical. And honestly, from a customer's perspective, I always thought U.S. Cold could do more for us. Like they could handle more of our transportation, but we really probably just never dipped our toe into it as much as we should have. But from an LTL pure perspective, a warehousing perspective, they were top notch. Like if we were to go do something new with EDI, be done in a second. Never had a problem. The other 3 or 4 warehouses we would deal with that weren't U.S. Cold warehouses, it may take 3 months to get done, where U.S. Cold was getting them in a day or 2. I really just think U.S. Cold has a competitive advantage in the marketplace. And as they continue to grow, if we continue to grow, I think we could just keep exploiting our good brand name that's already out there. There's a lot of brands of different, I would say, 3PL services that are just looked upon negatively from when I was in the shipper community. And as long as I'm in the shipper community or went to food shippers, I never heard anyone say a bad word about U.S. Cold. So I'm happy to be associated with them again. And, really happy to be here to hopefully support and build this business up a little bit more.
That is great to hear.
Chris brings up a good point on the growth of the evolution of the different programs that we have here. We did realize that we kind of set a lot of boundaries. I mean, the LTL program is a little rigid, where the communications, the size of the orders, the different requirements to be in that program. But at some point, we needed to realize to grow the business and to grow the offerings for our customers is that we needed to figure out how do we do those other things. And that was the big evolution of this 3PL services and this managed services, is that it's the LTL piece is our biggest piece, but these other ones can grow and grow rapidly and be able to really benefit our customers. And we needed to loosen the reins on, or kind of the guardrails on those.
And we even do business with all different customers. We do business with customers that bid out every load. We may start with a customer just doing all their last minute shipments that come up that they need help with. But then we expand it out to maybe do RFPs or contract business. And we really love year-round business, but we also love doing seasonal business. If you have a seasonal spike in your business, we'd love to support it.
Well, we always say that we grow as our customers grow. So we're great partners in warehousing. And then when they grow, they're ready to stay with us and grow. So I think this is actually an excellent example of the exact same thing, right? So we are a good partner in transportation. If somebody needed third-party managed services, they came to us. If somebody needed truckload, they came to us. So I think that's just a natural extension and evolution of that. But I want to go back to the truckload. So we basically pair truckloads with the carriers that need to haul.
Yeah, we find the best carrier to haul your truckload. We tend to skew towards smaller 1 to 5 truck operations. We just feel they give us the service necessary to keep our customers happy. Over the years, I've just seen a lot of the big national guys. You're kind of a number, where with a lot of these 1 to 5 truck guys, they really care about your business. And if you're always there to answer the phone and be helpful to them, they're just as helpful to you, to be honest. Many of the carriers over the years I've created great relationships with and still have them to this day, whether it's personal or business-wise. As long as you are clear with them, the expectations and exactly what you need, they really do a great job. I find 99% of the drivers on the road are really just great people and really interesting people. A lot of times once you get to talking to them.
So if a customer has a load that they need covered, what do they do?
So we have varying customers. Some customers may just send us a load in their TMS at our rate we have on file from an RFP. Other customers may say, hey, I'm in a jam. Chris, can you help me out last minute? We even have a customer here recently said, hey, I have to move 20 loads. Our plant shut down for a month. Can you give me a rate from our co-packer into our warehouse? So we quoted them from the co-packer into the warehouse, and we're lucky enough to win the award, where we didn't do anything from their plant direct to the warehouse. Just we were competitive enough, but out of their new co-packer, they said your rates are competitive and fair, and it's right into our facility where we have a lot of guys loading out to that location, and we know we got a good group of core carriers that can support it. So it really just depends on the shipper. We have some shippers that arrange their own multi-stops, and we're quoting them out. We'd certainly love them in our LTL consolidation program first. If you are able to build good multi-stop truckloads and you need support, we're here for you. Honestly, the brokerage really likes to do the ugly stuff that a lot of these big national guys aren't going to do. We like the 4, 5, 7 stops, ice cream, or something different. I mean, we actually enjoy to do something a little different than what we typically do.
So if someone isn't doing business with US Cold or maybe is not familiar with our company, how can they get more information about coverage?
Yeah, we actually have a get a quote on our website that any customer can acquire with. And also we have a freight at US Cold email. We always turn our quotes within a day and get them back to the customer. And if there's something you need help with, we'd love for you to email us at freight@uscold.com.
Or check it out, get a quote on their website at www.uscold.com. I just want to plug for that. So how do you think about ambient freight?
That's certainly something we can price. We do some pricing for dry vans, some specialized stuff, as well as like flatbeds. It's stuff we're interested in right now. Just because it's not refrigerated and not in our warehouse doesn't mean we can't help supply solutions to our customers.
Fantastic. So can you guys talk to me a little bit about how pricing in the consolidation program works?
Sure. So my counterpart, Wendy Snoke, she's the Senior Director of Logistics Services.
Shout out to Wendy.
Yes, absolutely. She does so much. So she will look at the network. They optimize the network on how a new customer would come in. They're actually using SmartMove for this as well to be able to model it, show what the benefits would be to our program, to be able to price it correctly for that customer, and then really give out a full report and really just a summary of all the pricing to a new customer or even an existing customer that may have an added location or added facility to it. So her and her team spend a lot of time really doing that and are able to do it well.
And I know when I worked for a shipper, we had some problems really servicing the Northeast. Doing a lot of 6, 7 stop loads up to like New York City and Boston and Connecticut. So we reached out to US Cold to supply us an optimization on how much it would cost for us to run product from our manufacturing and co-manufacturing facilities into the Pennsylvania region. And Wendy was kind enough to provide us some LTL pricing to better service our customers in that area that we were really struggling to do 6, 7 stop loads when the carrier capacity had tightened up.
So if we provide the pricing, were we able to reduce the number of stops on that load? Like, what was the end result?
We knew U.S. Cold was going to be able to do a 1 or 2 stop truckload, which is much easier to procure than procuring a 7-stopper out of North Carolina to go into the island. So we knew that trucking capacity wouldn't be as big of an issue for U.S. Cold doing those 1, 2, 3 drops versus us doing a 7-dropper out of North Carolina. U.S. Cold, we knew, had familiar customers that were already going to these locations that they can combine and create some economies of scale and provide some competitive pricing and service our customers to the level that we expected.
So when you think about consolidation in LTL, what makes a good customer fit?
So I think that's the unique thing about our program is we can service customers, very small customers to very large customers. There's a minimum size order, but we're able to do some creativity to that if it's a smaller order, we can customize the pricing to it. Because we're already going to all the major consignees and really any consignee, we can make work within the program. And that the benefit is that customer will ride with our existing networks and fit.
And so we do ice cream too, right?
We absolutely do ice cream. Yes. So we ship at -20. We store at -20, and we're able to make that work within our program.
All right. So for the folks that are listening that have ice cream programs, we do consolidation.
Absolutely.
Consolidation. Great. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Ann.
Yeah. We learned so much about LTL consolidation, also called cold share consolidation. The service offerings we offered from a managed service perspective with Chris. Also the truckload freight brokerage. If you need a load covered or you want to bid out some inbound transportation, call Chris and he'll be able to provide it for you. And in general, we just learned a little bit more about our company and about what kind of partners we're looking for. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time to share with us today. And thank you to everybody who's watching, and stay cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're out.